Hello, good evening, and welcome to another story a day for 26 days. I really have lost track of the number of days. Started losing track a few days ago, and it's continued. So, not really sure where we are in the great big scheme of things. But that doesn't really matter. It's story time, and here's your story for this evening. Well, once in the lands of Africa, there lived a wild cat, and she was a shiny coated cat with little kind of stripes here and there and pretty little tail. And she found the finest creature in the land to live with. And this was another wild cat. And he was a little bit bigger than her, a little bit shinier than her. But oh, how she thought he was just the best thing ever. And one day, when they were out hunting, suddenly out of the long grass, just like that, a leopard leapt, tumbled her husband into the ground. And she looked and saw how dusty his coat was, and how small he was compared to the leopard, and how the leopard's spots just glinted in the sunlight. And she thought, well, how foolish I've been. The leopard is clearly the finest creature in the whole of this land. And so she went to live with the leopard. And she was very happy. And life carried on as usual, hunting and sleeping, kind of cat-like things. Until one day, when they were out hunting together, suddenly, out of the grass leapt a lion. And he killed and ate the leopard. And she sat there watching, cleaning behind her ears, my cats do. And she thought, looks like I've had it wrong. Clearly the lion is the finest creature in this land, with his dark, long mane and that tail that just lazily swishes. So she went to live with the lion. And she was very, very happy with the lion. Usual kind of thing, some hunting, some eating, some sleeping. And one day when they were hunting together, suddenly a great big foot stamped down on the lion and squashed him flat into the ground. She couldn't believe her eyes. This was the finest creature in the land, but oh, okay, maybe elephant was the finest creature in all the land, and she would go and live with him. And so she climbed up onto his back, and she sat between his shoulders and just purred. This was very nice. She got transported around the place, didn't have to do too much, get down and catch her own food occasionally, but that was okay. Until one day, just as she was coming back from catching something to eat, there was a really loud bang. An elephant fell to the ground, and he didn't get up again. And she went over to him, and she pushed at him with her paws, but he didn't get up again. And she looked up, and there was a rather pathetic-looking two-legged creature standing there with a big metal object in his hand. And she realised that this was man, and that man was the finest creature in all the land. And so she followed man home. And she took herself up onto the thatched roof of his house in his village, and she lived there. And she lived there for a good long time, and she went around all the houses, and she caught various little rodents. She was quite happy. One day she was sitting on the roof, just doing that usual kind of thing, and there was this almighty racket from down below, and there was screeching, and there was yelling, and there was shouting, and there was clattering and banging and thumping, and suddenly out of the hut tumbled the man, over and over into the ground, covered in dust. And his wife stood in the doorway with her hands on her hips and gave him that look, and man crawled away. And that's when Cat thought, I have been so wrong, so very, very wrong. It's not man that is the finest creature in all of the land. It is woman. And with that, Cat came down off of the roof, into the hut, and curled up by the fire. And that is where she has stayed ever since. So I hope you enjoyed today's story. I'll be back again tomorrow with another one. Have a good evening. Bye-bye now.